I would now like to invite our esteemed panelists, Mr. Satya Molugu, founder and managing director, Irusu Technologies, and Pankaj Raut, founder and CEO, AjnaLens Dimensions NXG, for this discussion. It would be moderated by Mr. Utkarsh Kumar Rai, who's a leadership coach, motivational speaker, and a popular author. Over to you, Mr. Utkarsh.
Yeah, thank you, Soumya, and thanks, Abhijit, for setting up the stage with the private 5G and talking about Metaverse and enabling of Metaverse. So Metaverse is a virtual world where humans in their virtual avatar can work, live, play, and interact with each other in real time. This is a new wave, more or less similar to the mobile telephony wave. Though there are many companies who are providing the software solutions, only a handful of them are providing hardware solutions. And hardware is the key for us to get that seamless experience. So in this panel, cracking the metaverse hardware puzzle, we have Pankaj Raut, who is the CEO of AjnaLens, a leading AI-powered mixed reality company serving defense, government, enterprise clients globally. He is recognized as India's 10 most influential thought leaders in immersive technologies. He believes that all major world problems we face today can be effectively solved if we combine the strengths of technology and human. They design products that enhance human capabilities and are simple to use to help people make decisions being wiser than before. AjnaLens mixed reality headsets is designed to augment human intelligence so that human can realize their full potential. And also we have Satya Molugu, who is the founder of Irusu Technologies. He has always been passionate about 3D animation, gaming, and XR space. In 2014, he started Irusu, which is one of the first companies to manufacture VR headsets in India. Also one of the first movers in the XR space and became the leading AR VR company in India. Manufactured its own Google Cardboard VR headset, developed world's first VR applications for real estate used by Common Floor, and developed India's first sports-based VR app for Star Sports Pro Kabaddi. So welcome Pankaj and welcome Satya to this panel discussion.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask the same question to both of you, first Satya and then to Pankaj. What are we doing in this space and what challenges do you foresee ahead as a metaverse solution provider?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, NASCOM, and again, thank you, Utkarsh, for inviting me. So ISRO has started way back in 2014. We are the first VR manufacturing company, as you rightly said. But right now, we are just not only the largest sellers of these AR and VR devices in the country, we are also setting up XR labs across the universities. We are bundling up training modules on top of these, and we are also running these experience zones in urban cities. We are calling them as Irusu gaming zones, specifically targeted for urban population. So, in terms of the challenges, see, there are quite a lot of them in this space. Be it could be latency issues, the form factors, or even it could be the price points, right? But in our experience, I think I would come down to two major challenges. The first one being is the rapid evolution of the technology itself is a hurdle for us. Why I would say that? Because see, we always need to play this catch-up game, right? And it really gets difficult for us to make our client convinced to stick to a product, right? See, obviously, any client would like to have have a longer shelf life for his hardware, right? And when we have these huge acquisitional costs, we need to justify at least 2 to 3 years of shelf life for this hardware. But with rapid evolution on this hardware front, it's getting a little difficult for us to convince our clients.
Just 1 minute, Satya, I'm just interrupting because I remembered a joke which one of the startup founder cracked. He said, by the time I roll out my product based on the technology become obsolete and I have to close the startup.
So, exactly. That's the bottleneck that we are facing right now. Because see, playing this catch-up game is really hard right now. So the hardware needs to be stabilized, right. I think steps are being taken in that direction. And the other factor that I would consider is that needs to be changed is there is no unifying framework across these devices. See, we all know that the world is divided into these Apples and Androids, right? In the mobile industry, but still people are able to share this content across these devices. But wherein in the case of XR devices, that's not the case. There is a lot of backend intervention that needs to happen to transfer the content from one platform to another or one device to the other device. So standards have to be framed across these devices. So
Okay.
that's the other challenge that I think needs to be overcome.
Okay. So Pankaj, in addition to this seamlessness from AR, VR, XR, and all others about different devices, which is becoming a pain point, and this rapid technology adoption. In addition to it, what are the challenges do you see, and what you are doing in this space?
Namaskaram, Utkarsh ji. Thank you so much, and thank you, NASCOM team, for having me. Just a quick intro about AjnaLens. We also started around the same time. Primarily, we've been working with defense. So we manufacture our own augmented virtual reality and mixed reality devices that we deployed with the Army, Navy, DRDO. Slowly, we went into the enterprise space, and now we work within the B2C space where we're doing large scale implementation. One of our biggest achievement has been we are training almost 18,000 individuals every year within the metaverse for traditional skills such as spray painting, welding, so that they can earn a livelihood for themselves and build a life for themselves.
Very good.
In terms of challenges, I think there is a deeper challenge that we are facing as a nation itself, that the awareness that metaverse is such a huge thing is still not within the ecosystem. So ecosystem, I mean, not within the government, not within the enterprises, not within the people as well. That is why a lot of movement is not happening. They say artificial intelligence, when it came in, there was still a lot of awareness, although we still lost the journey to China and other countries. Same thing will happen here if there is not much awareness in terms of the potential of metaverse, which is very huge. It's personally, I believe it's like a foundational technology like electricity or internet or computer, right? Metaverse is that level of a technology. There's not enough awareness, so government is not taking aggressive steps. Enterprises are not really looking at it that exclusively into this, and then people are also not investing into building careers into this.
So 1 minute, Pankaj, just to interrupt it, that you talked about AI, how everybody's talking about it, and you can see many companies, they have a company name .ai. Then why AjnaLens.met or Irusu.met is not there, or something like that? So maybe that is one thing which we from we as a professionals can start it, so then it can become a wave. But anyway, go ahead with that.
Very true. No, my central point was that we need to understand the importance of this technology. It's essentially the next generation of internet, 3D internet, if you may.
Yes.
It's huge potential. If more and more people start investing into it, more.
So I will ask a little bit more detail on this one, but before that, metaverse, because there are a lot of audience. So metaverse is AR, VR, and MR all together, and it comes with their respective hardware and software solutions. So first to you, Pankaj, and you have to unmute yourself. How are businesses in India adopting the solutions, whatever you have supplied?
So as I mentioned, if businesses, if you look at their purchasing, it is almost always ROI driven. How does it impact? What is the return of investment that I am doing? The most clear ROI answer for any enterprise is within the training space. Although AR, VR, MR can be used across, right from your product design to product development to marketing to after sales support, the most easiest and clear ROI to be proven while doing the purchasing decision is within the training space. So that is wherein large organizations have been deploying that within training, whether it be hard skill, which is very easy and straightforward to do. In some cases, it is soft skill training as well, which is where the deployment is.
Okay, very good. And Satya, what about you? How is consumers adopting the metaverse solutions?
So from last 8 years, I think we have sold more than 2 lakh units across the country. That's primarily the mobile VR. And we at Irusu firmly believe that no democratizing VR is very important, right? No, for this space to get to a new next level. Uh, for that, we are still at an early stage of adoption. Even we have sold these many of units from last 8 years. We are still at an early stage of adoption, and but recently we have seen a surge in hardware sales post pandemic, primarily because people were looking at this different forms of engagement, and AR and VR happens to be their primary choice. So, but that said, we see a huge adoption in terms of gaming industry. People are buying these headsets for game consumption and even for entertainment consumption also, because we have around 200 plus B2B clients, and most of them are from entertainment background. They are from R&D background. They are into defense, state, and no central governments. Tourism is taking a lot of devices for their promotions. Be it could be no, state governments or central governments. And in the near future, I think most of these wearable devices will be used by the consumers in the space of social media, wherein we will be seeing these social media platforms coming into metaverses. Meta is doing it right in a heavy way. And apart from that, I also foresee that many of the IT companies, right, in the near future, will be having their virtual workspaces, wherein maybe all the employees might be working half the time in the workspaces, virtual workspaces, and maybe half the time in the real physical world, right? And not only that, even the personal computational space also, right? We will be moving from this traditional desktop screens to these no we will be teleporting to no virtual spaces even for personal computation. So there is a lot of scope in that also.
Okay, so what you meant to say that there are a lot of potential, and post-pandemic we have seen some more traction in the
Yes,
adoption.
obviously.
And what Pankaj has said that we still not taking metaverse as a nation that seriously the way we have taken artificial intelligence or machine learning or so. So now we have heard Abhijit also in the beginning about the private 5G. India is rolling out the private 5G, which is going to make virtual experiences much more pleasant and much more real time in that case. So how India, other than this is what we have to do, what are the three things which Pankaj do you think India should do as a nation, from the government, from the corporate, and as a professional, which is going to help us not to miss this bus?
Uh, Three things. First thing I think is increasing the awareness, which is wherein we require more panels, more discussions like this, wherein more and more awareness comes in within the entire ecosystem, right from the government, enterprises, B2C, in terms of what are the kind of future opportunities that is there, so that we are not the laggards later on, but we are the early adopters who understand, utilize, and to the world we are providing Indian made solutions within the metaverse space, be it be hardware, software, applications, everything across the journey. That is, I think, the first one. Second one is in terms of if India can help support the manufacturing ecosystem, the government can support the manufacturing ecosystem within deep tech space. So this support includes reduction on some taxes or providing some opportunities through center of excellence or stuff like that, is where I think the second thing could be. Third could be in terms of like what they did with the drone, which has helped the Indian drone industry rapidly grow, create policies, frameworks which support and nurture Indian startups to invest a lot into the hardware of the metaverse.
Okay, good, good, good. So you have really crystallized and summarized it well. But I have a quick question to both of you: that how do you see VCs are receptive if you go for a metaverse hardware solutions? So first with Satya and then with Pankaj. How are the
Yeah, in
VCs
fact,
experience for the new professionals also who wants to start in?
yeah, I think you have just posed the wrong question for me, because we are a bootstrap company, right? Right from the start, we haven't
Okay.
taken investment. But that said, no, we have been approached by a lot many investment companies to get into this hardware space. There's lot of buzz that is going around. So I see there's a lot of potentiality in the market. So obviously, see when we see a huge market space, in near future. Obviously, investors would like to come into this space, right? No, we have been approached by lot many investment uh, no agencies, but we have turned them off because we are self-sufficient right now.
Okay, okay. And what about you, Pankaj? In general, how's the ecosystem? Is the other startup founders or professionals are coming and saying that how to pitch to VCs, another one?
Uh, my thoughts here on this one is it is not just the metaverse hardware. Within the Indian ecosystem, the risk averseness of venture capitalists towards hardware is much higher. So, because there is a reason.
But has it
Especially,
slowed down? Because this
yes,
awareness used to be quite high a decade back, but now
correct.
the receptivity is high or not?
It's okay, because they are still risk averse in terms of investing into a deep tech hardware startup. Because primarily we do not have large, big, very successful companies in hardware space, in deep tech space within India to have like, okay, ये कर सकते हैं, we have to go in this direction.
Okay.
In US ecosystem, you have the Googles, Apples, Microsoft, being from startups going large scale. There is some foundation. यहाँ पे that is what we are, the first generations, I think, will build in. So going forward, the next generation of VCs can think, okay, great, world class hardwares can come out of India. But yes, slightly better than what it was previously. More, they are more open to even understand, explore. We have some VCs who have invested as well.
Good. So it's all in the positive one, but not to the level where you people will say, yeah, aha, we have achieved or we have arrived it. So Satya, I have a little tricky question, and you need to be very honest in answering as you have done in the past too. That as you said, post-pandemic, there is a lot of acceptability of metaverse solutions are coming. So just like the mobile phone, there is a high-end mobile phone, there is a low-end mobile phone. So are we making those, at least the basic headsets of whether it is for the consumers, which are in the cost point comes to the mobile phone, maybe little bit of quality may not be that much, which will be of an expensive one, but as an acceptable level with the 5G also coming into picture. What is your take on that?
See, right now we are heavily dependent upon the other countries for the hardware components. So we have to be honest on that because we do not have a semiconductor fabrication units in the country, right? So obviously we have to go to different countries for different parts for these kind of devices. But that said, it gives us two options, right? One is uh, see, unless you have a lot of cash to burn out, right? Uh, devising or no manufacturing these mainstream devices would be a no big company's game, wherein they can wait and wait and watch in the market. But again, the second option, which I think would be apt even for our Indian condition, is that see there is a lot of opportunity in terms of manufacturing supporting devices for these mainstream devices,
Okay.
which will complement the no XR devices. For example, see, there's a lot of scope in terms of simulators, haptic sensors, or other modular components, that will go hand in hand with these, mainstream devices, which will work in conjunction with these devices. So what we are seeing is only a tip of the iceberg at the top of the chain, right? For this with these mainstream devices. But when you go down, there's a lot of opportunity wherein we can dwell upon and start looking into this space of sector, specifically in the context of this make in India concept, right? A lot of new startups or smaller companies can start building industry specific hardware on top of these mainstream devices.
Okay, so I have a question to both of you, but we'll go with Satya first. You have seen, you said that these challenges, and you have also seen some better adoption. As a guess, there is for every technology adoption, there is an inflection point. It will go very steep, slow, not steep, very less growth, slow, and other, and then suddenly it goes up as an inflection point. So what do you see? Is it 2023, 24, 25, 26? When do you see from your own vision and understanding, the inflection point will come for the consumer and then for Pankaj for the business.
Me,
Yes, yeah,
I
you
think
said that.
within 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years, I think we will reach to a plateau of production wherein we will be having a very stable kind of scenario, both in terms of hardware and software, because we are at a pivotal moment in the history of metaverse as of now. And see, right steps have to be taken both by the companies and industry manufacturers or industry leaders in this space. And if you can take those right steps, I think within 2 to 3 years, I think we will reach the plateau of production in this metaverse space.
Okay. And what about you, Pankaj? What is your take?
I think slightly earlier. So next year itself is, I think, where we'll see that large scale adoption, because we currently are doing 18,000 individuals. We'll be doing 50,000 individuals. Next year we are launching a AR plus VR two-in-one device, which is standalone with a XR2 chipset in January, which at a much lower price point. So which will help the adoption within the enterprise become much easier. We've been speaking to hundreds of enterprises. We know what their pain points are, and that is what we are solving with the current device. So I think next year the adoption will go
No, so
better.
you have defense, you have government, you have enterprises as they are there. So other than training modules, when do you see an inflection point where they will be adopting in various other functions? As you rightly said, from product design or even from
Correct.
manufacturing and all other things. How
Correct.
is the adoption? Do you see when is the
I
inflection?
think it's still the next year is where we'll see
Okay,
the adoption across all of that.
good.
ROI is which the current year is, but then going forward, then the technology itself, the price points, the features, the functionality, the uh, comfort level, everything is at a point wherein it's at a right spot, at a golden spot.
Okay, so I think it's good for 1 year to 2 or 3 years. That itself is excellent news. Okay, so then coming to you, Satya, sorry, Pankaj, is that hardware manufacturing, as there are a lot of pain points and you must be importing a lot of subcomponents, but at least some part you are doing it here in India too. Over the years, what challenges used to be there, which is now been solved? And what new challenges do you see which you need to overcome?
So over the years, okay, am I audible clearly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So over the years, I think right when we started in 2014, the optics was a big challenge, understanding and figuring out optics. So we had to go down, sit with optics. So the traditional optics manufacturer have no idea. They have never had R&D or doing something out of their traditional business. So we had to convince them, okay, come down, sit with us, do the R&D aspect of it, right? For
Okay,
us,
very
the most fundamental part was for solving the optics bit of it. The first challenge that we faced was the mindset of the traditional companies within the optics space, that they're not even having an internal R&D, let alone doing an R&D with an external company to do something like that. Over the period, once we got the optics solved and we went into the PCB, the layout and everything, that is wherein we figured out, okay, there is not right infrastructure that can manufacture the kind of PCBs that we are looking at within India. Although there is, but it is more on power than a micro electronics kind of use case. So that is wherein we had to start nurturing them, convince them to invest into machines which are worth crores and crores of rupees, showing them the potential of the future, which we to some extent have been very successful into getting our vendors to invest into these machines so that they can manage the kind of PCBs that are required here.
So a lot of things are streamlined now. You will
Correct,
proceed it
correct,
well.
correct, correct,
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay, good, good. So
Uh,
what about you, Satya? How is your experience? Because if the inflection point is coming in a couple of years, then what challenges you overcome, or and what are the new challenges you foresee which will delay this inflection?
See, we had faced a lot of challenges because way back in 2014, right, there was hardly any content, right? Even very few players which were operating in that domain at that time period. But that's it. See, there's a lot of education we too had to undergo to educate our customers, even at a consumer level, because it was not easy. See, explaining it to a client is different than explaining it to a consumer, right? Because the educational material will be much different than how you explain it to a normal potential client of yours. So
Mhm.
we had to educate a lot to our consumers through the means of these YouTube channels or other materials way back in 2014, right? Even now, when we are trying to explain it to our clients, we have to explain them on how to leverage the potentiality of these technologies for their domain purpose. Because as Pankaj rightly said, right, these acquisitional costs needs to be justified, right? We cannot just sell them something and they can sit around with those devices for for a longer period of time without doing anything on those devices. Uh, so what we started doing is we started developing our own content on top of these devices, because that way we were able to add value propositions to the hardware. And as I said that now we are setting up these extra labs for the universities across the country, right? Now what we have tried is we try to make training modules on how to use these devices, because when we set up these units in their universities, right? We also gave them these demo projects. So once they get trained on these devices, they can directly deploy these projects on these
So
devices and
basically,
start.
what you did is that rapid technology adoption you have slowed down by providing stickiness to your applications on your hardwares and also giving them the training module how to use that one. So
Yes, because
that is a good
that
one.
it will expedite the process of adoption, right? Because
Yes,
when you provide this end-to-end solution to the client, he doesn't have to look outside the frame. No, he will get all the solutions within the single acquisition, and it
correct.
will justify the overall cost acquisition. No, cost also.
Okay. So once we are on the hardware, I want to know that when first mobile was launched, it was quite bulky, and then it took quite a good number of years, even decades, that it has become handy and manageable. So how is the evolution so far, and where do you see that bulky headset? Battery life is very short, and the seamless connectivity. If this headset will only talk with a particular device and not being able to seamlessly move towards other one, which robs the experience of a metaverse which we want to have it. So what is your take, Satya, first, and then I will move to Pankaj on this
Okay.
topic.
In terms of the form factor, I think right now most of the XR devices have come to their half of the size of what they were previously around 8 to 10 years back. But still, we are not at there. But I think the form factors are getting reduced primarily because there are a lot of advancements that are happening in the optics and also the CPUs and GPUs of these devices. But that is part and parcel of any electronic industry, right? So these chipsets will get lower in size and much more. They will start getting much more powerful. But one interesting thing that we have noticed with many of the companies is that most of the companies are trying to cleverly embed these AI modules on top of these chipsets. Now they're trying to do more with less number of hardware components. For example, I would say that see, with a pair of two cameras and controllers, now we are able to simulate the whole body movement, which is
Okay.
very useful. And not only that, no, we are even able to capture the facial expressions with the pair of cameras. Uh, so I think, and even with the advent of these 5G bands, right, we see that high fidelity content is being transferred through across all these devices. But that, as you said, that see, all these things will drain up the battery, obviously.
Because I
And
personally feel that this inflection, for the inflection point to reach, the consumers need to feel it's less bulky, battery life is
yes,
more,
yes,
and it should be
yes, yes.
seamless on that one.
Yes, that's when many
And
of the
that is
hardware
going to
companies are
happen.
trying to come up with these replaceable batteries, because you cannot just have fast charging batteries or long lasting batteries, because these powerful devices will drain out your batteries
Yes.
sooner or later, right? So they are coming up with these replaceable batteries, I think, which is a really good adoption technique. So I would feel that see all these innovations needs to be tested a lot, refined further to make them even more better in the near future.
Okay. What about you, Pankaj? What is your take?
I think this is something wherein we have spent a lot of time strategizing, thinking, doing a lot of internal R&D. The end goal is to have these lenses that just go and sit in your eyes. But this is something I think another 10-15 years from today, although there are a lot of prototypes and everything happening
Yeah, the
globally.
companies are around. Yeah.
Correct. But it has its own journey. Even the first biggest milestone for that is to get it into wearable specs like the ones that you're wearing, right?
Yes.
That is very, as Satya mentioned, what companies are doing is using less electronics, less things. You are trying to use AI to do a lot more. With advent of 5G, that will help us put a lot of our computing on the cloud and do just minute processing on the edge here, which is probably helping us reduce that. And the biggest contributor to that is the optics. That is wherein we are doing a lot of investment. Currently, our optics is only just this thin, right? So that's this thin everything. Everything else is the one which is bulky. And that is how we are getting rid of that. Going forward, I think within 2 years, we'll be able to, 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to get really, really thin optics and a small computing which sits on the back, which talks to 5G, and you're almost as if you're wearing your sunglasses.
Oh, wow. Very good to hear that one. So now I want to talk about that. Yes, my virtual avatar in the virtual world can get some sensation in interacting with others, some feelings and others. How I will get my digital avatar can get whatever sensation they are getting it through the sense of touch or so, how they can pass it to me as a real me. So, what are the ways in which in the metaverse hardware that virtual experience from feeling, touch, and other, I will be able to get it as real me? Pankaj, your take.
Yes, so this is wherein we have built India's first full hand haptic glove. So anything and everything you're doing within the virtual space, you're getting that movements, and it's very realistic. You should come down, experience at our office. But
Sure.
then slowly it will move into a complete wearable suit. There are two ways to do it. One is wherein you have a wearable thing that you wear, and second is using an external thing. It's similar to a TV screen. You stand in front of it, and then it throws out ultrasound signals at you, which make you feel as if you're touching something into the virtual world. I think it is that second version, which is wherein you put some units of things within your office space or unit, and then without you wearing something as an add-on, it is helping you feel the entire virtual experience. Is which
So,
is
but this
the one
must
that will take
be
forward.
a little bit lagging in the adoption because of the form factor, because of the bulkiness, and also the safety and security issue. Because this
Correct.
ultrasound and
And
other thing will also come with that issue.
Correct. There are multiple other things that companies are exploring. And as you rightly mentioned, this is like those early days of smartphones when they're big, bulky, has multiple challenges, and over a period of time it's solved. I think we are within those journey. We've crossed almost the midpoint. We are almost closer to the smartphone era.
So, how is your gloves? Is this the gloves like a golf glove which I hold it? Is that the lightweight glove or it is really
It's
a
a lightweight glove.
boxing,
It's a
boxing
lightweight
glove
glove.
type? Or
It's
it's a
a
light.
lightweight glove. It's a
Oh.
lightweight, very smooth and easy to wear.
And
That's
what do
where
you
we've
see
been
the
able to do innovation.
inflection point of this type of where the sensation of a virtual avatar can pass to the real person? When do you see a inflection point in this technology in India?
That's again a spectrum. How much feeling? Currently, you already have a bit of feeling in terms of you're touching something virtually, but something which is very, very immersive, another 3 to 5 years.
Okay, good. So now, Pankaj, you have run a very successful company and doing great. What is your suggestion to the prospective founders who want to enter and ride the already experimented wave of metaverse hardware? What is your suggestion to them?
I think one suggestion I would have is to be very, very resourceful, because some this thing that you're going to pick up has its own challenges. A lot of these things, specifically if you're getting into the hardware, you will have a lot more no's and you'll have a lot more obstacles as compared to the easy part. So you have to have a very, very resourcefulness kind of a mindset wherein no matter what, you will try to find a jugaad and a way to get it solved.
Okay, so the person has to be omnipresent at every places and every functions and try to manage things in a real time. Okay, so
Very
that's
true. And try to find solutions to all the problems and challenges. That resourcefulness mindset is, I think, a very foundational thing which has helped us go through so many blockers and challenges that we face.
okay. What about you, Satya? Because if you are so thinly spread in the resourcefulness, then sometimes you miss the depth. So, do you have a counter argument, or you are
No. See,
with
back
this?
then when we started in 2014, there were hardly any resources for us to bank on, right?
Hmm.
But right now, I think there are enough use cases and resources which no new startups can leverage upon and no start getting into different sectors. But that's it. As I said, that no, we are in a pivotal moment in the history of metaverse. But one suggestion that I would like to give to the startups in a broader way is like no, most of the hardware companies needs to be having this long term goal instead of working on short terms, because hardware is one space where you cannot be short sighted, right? See, more or less down the line, we will be seeing all these screens, be it could be a mobile screen or a desktop screen. We'll be putting them into no, we'll be transforming them into virtual screens, or no, we'll be going into virtual spaces. Whether we like it or not, metaverse is going to stay here, right? And it is going to be a big part of our lives, so it is going to be inevitable. So I would say that at the same time, no, it also gives us enormous opportunities and also challenges along with it, which we need to overcome and start innovating in a new and meaningful way. So I would say that let us make metaverse more meaningful for our future generations.
So basically, what you both are saying that yes, with resourcefulness and also that we have reached that there are a lot of use cases are available. So this is a great time for professionals to enter into metaverse hardware space and then take the country from the through this inflection point, which is we are going to get in the next couple of years. So just one last one-liner, Pankaj, you describe your journey so far, and then I will come to Satya and he describes his journey with just one liner, and then we will close this panel.
I can't think of a liner, but I think the journey has been very interesting and exciting with a lot of ups and downs. Yes.
Okay, good, interesting, exciting, and ups and downs. What about you, Satya?
It was a roller coaster ride for us. It was like an adventure for us all the way. It was like a fascinating journey till date.
Yeah. So
All the 8
metaverse's
years.
adoption is gaming. So roller coaster is a
Roller
sort of
coaster, yes.
game.
Yeah. All the ups and downs, the twists and turns, you have
Okay.
it.
Good. So,
Yeah.
audience, you have seen this panel, and you must have taken a lot of takeaways from these two bright, founders of metaverse solution companies, which are also manufacturing hardware and building their own different solutions for the metaverse, and which is Pankaj and Satya. And really thank and very, very happy to hear your perspective and mostly the inflection point and the hurdles which you cross and what potential you see. Certainly for the government and others, we have to look into it from the NASCOM and others, how metaverse adoption and metaverse awareness need to be improved. So thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Satya. And over to you,
Thank you.
Soumya.
Yeah.